Welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you so much for joining us again today. Brandon, how are you doing?
Mom, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Let's see, we are going to talk about today, the week of April 7th through 11th. All right, we'll start off by just giving a recap of the week. First of all, Jocelyn has finished with the WSB training and she is back in Port Charles. Her first assignment is to be a research assistant at Port Charles University, and then Emma will be in her class. Then, while Jocelyn's at home, also she starts to question Carly about Brennan. She wants to know about her, what happened with her when she was in the hospital, and a little and about the poisoning also. Um, Then Carly and Willow, on another front, have tense words with each other. Carly is not happy that Willow is moving in with Drew, and then Jason has to intervene. Lucky and Christina have words about Rick and Liz's car accident. Ava attempts to blackmail Alexis so that she can get more Cassadine money. Of course, she's blackmailing her because she knows that Christina cut the wire in the car. Alexis admits to Diane that she needs a lawyer for Christina, and they both agree that Christina just needs to be committed because otherwise she would actually be up for charges for attempted murder for two of them, and then, well, actually, attempted murder for all three. And all three meaning for Rick, Ava, and Elizabeth. And then Natalia meets with her son, Marco. They really don't have a good meeting. And then Natalia admits to Sonny that Sidwell is her ex husband. But what's also interesting is she admits that Marco is Sidwell's son, but she does not say anything about Blaze. Jordan wants Laura to fire her as the deputy mayor so that she could work for Sidwell. And then Kai wants to have surgery so that he could play football. And then Anna and Emma talk about Emma's past crimes. All right, that is really the week in a nutshell. Brandon, do you want to add anything to the week?
I think that largely covers it.
Okay, sounds good. So let's talk about our performers of the week. I had to think about this a little bit. There are two that I'm going to give credit to for this week. The first one's Emma. I like the conversation she had with Anna. I know she had a similar type of conversation last week, and I believe I gave Emma credit for being the performer of the week. But once more, I thought she did a really nice job. She was only on a couple days this week, but her the relationship she has with her grandmother, I really really like. My second person this week is Alexis. Alexis is struggling a little bit. She is, it was nice to see the fun Alexis as she was happy to see that her kids were finally getting along. She and Rick actually shared some nice words sort of together. But when Alexis realized that Christina was in trouble and that she really could not help her and had to turn to Diane, you could see how much Alexis was struggling. All right, Brandon, what were your thoughts of performance of the week?
I chose the same ones. I mean, really, I really am liking the acting from Emma and well, the actress that portrays Emma, and I am even though she didn't have as much screen time this week as she had per se last week. I thought it was still like scene stealing, almost to the point of like an Alexis who, at the end of the week, she starts off the week by having sort of like a happy-go-lucky, my girls are back, they're back, but apparently, nope, it was Christina feeling guilty. So now Alexis is sort of spiraling, and so yeah, I really like Alexis's banter with everyone, and so I would have to give credit to both of them.
All right. And as for amusing scenes of the week, I have two. I kind of like Brennan and Anna as they were talking about the WSB information and how much he's actually allowed to give. So I kind of like that. But then I also like Alexis and Marco. I thought they kind of had a cute little scene together. All right, Brandon, what about you for amusing scenes of the week?
To add to that, I am going to add Alexis and Diane when she was being all happy and jittery. And I even like her quick banter with Rick, where it's saying, like, you'd rather not be alive than to be friendly. and be on friendly terms with me.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, Alexis just kind of she did really well this week. All right. And then we have our fast forward scene of the week. And for me, it was Willow, Drew, and Carly. That whole scene, I just didn't care for it at all. And so that was my fast forward scene of the week. What about for you?
Same exact thing. I mean, as much as we love Carly, in most cases, yeah, going off on someone, it's just this feels like we've done this over and over and over again for about half a year now. I mean, we haven't really made any progress.
Yeah, totally agree. And then as for touching scene of the week, I actually had several of them, but they were just tiny little blurbs for the most part, but there were some touching scenes. Emma and Anna, I really like their scenes together this week. And I like Jason and Sasha. They kind of had a nice little scene talking about the baby. Chase and Brooklyn. Once more, Chase kind of had to help Brooklyn realize that she needs to speak to her mother, otherwise it's going to be suspicious. And then, like you mentioned before, Alexis and Diane, when they had to talk about Christina, I did like this scene together. All right, Brandon, what are your touching scenes of the week?
Yeah, definitely all of those for the most part. And I believe we got a brief one with Molly and Rick at the beginning of the week. But yeah,
All right. And then, as for welcome back, well, welcome back, Lois and Olivia. They've been missing for a little bit. I think Olivia has been, babysitting children on a field trip. I don't know, but anyway, she's back now. and then, and then, I don't think I had any "Where are yous" this week. All right, Brandon, what about you for welcome backs?
I have two welcome backs.
Oh, who do you have?
So, in addition to the ones that you mentioned, welcome back to Wiley and Danny.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. They have shown back up. That's right. And did you have any "Where are yous"?
I don't think I have any Where Are Yous. I think we've got most of the people just scattered throughout the week.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say "Where are you" to Rocco because we keep talking about him, but we haven't seen him or Charlotte. And
Yeah.
so I will give those two as the "Where are yous." As for next week, I am looking forward to once more seeing Marco and his interaction. I'd like to see if they explain Blaze. So that I'd like to see. Christina, because I kind of want to see where they're kind of leading with this. I mean, is Alexis really going to have her committed? Is something else going to come up? So I do want to see how that goes. All right, Brandon, what about you for next week?
I likewise want to see if Christina is going to be committed. And by Alexis, and will Alexis give a heads up? That is what I'm kind of curious about. Before I started watching the show, when back, I know, of course, you were watching and I saw bits and pieces of it. I was very intrigued with the whole, Christina, Molly, Blaze storyline, with the whole thing with the baby. We obviously saw how that turned out, but I like the way that Christina sort of portrays herself. And so, uh, that being said, I feel like her being committed in this storyline, I think is probably the best case scenario for her character. Before she tries to take someone else out or someone tries to take her out. So yeah, but I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that again that Blaze can randomly show up here in some capacity. And actually, I'm curious as to see if Alexis will give it a heads up. But I want to see what Ava does because Ava said she's going to Molly, and we didn't mention that at the end of the week.
Yep, that's true. It'll be interesting to see what Ava does. Yes. And, Brandon, this is a short one for us this week. Very short. I was looking at the time, but I think we kind of captured everything. So I look forward to speaking with you next week and to speaking to our audience. So thank everybody for watching.
Yes, definitely. We always love doing this, and we're almost at a year.
Yep, almost at a year. That is so hard to believe.
Absolutely.
Yes. So everybody, have a great day.
And we'll see you next time.
All right, bye bye.